Lesson 113, Finding Perimeters of Rectangles and Squares. So what's the focus? It's for you to find the perimeter of a square and to help you to learn formulas for finding a rectangle's perimeter. You need to know how to select and measure the perimeters of objects and apply those perimeter formulas to those measurements. Let's take a look at our mental math and fluency. Try to read these aloud to yourself. Pause it if you need time to think. Turn it back on when you're ready to see if you have it right. You should say this number, 3,749. And we write it like so. Next one. Again, pause it if you need to until you're ready to say it. 5,650. There are no ones, so there should be a 0 in the ones place. And the final one. The expanded form for this number is 8,036. So there's nothing in the hundreds place, so you should have a 0 in the hundreds place. Finding perimeters. The square I am showing you here says that it is 2 feet. You need to find the perimeter of that square. Remember, perimeter means that you're looking at the outside. We're looking at like putting a fence around a yard. We're not looking so much as filling the fence in. We're looking at how many feet of fence do we need to corral in the cattle, the turkeys, whatever you're trying to get in. So for perimeter, I tell my students, remember, perimeter starts with a P, and P is also for the word plus. So I don't have just one side here. I have a side here that is also 2 feet. I have a side that is parallel to the bottom, which is 2 feet. And I have this side to the right, which is parallel from the side on the left that is 2 feet. So how many square feet is this perimeter? Well, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 8. How did I find the perimeter? Well, I added. I took the 2, and you must write this, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2 equals 8. That's the number model I would write for finding perimeter. So how many inches is that? Well, if this is feet, I have to figure out how many inches are in 1 foot. We know that's 12. So I got to do 8 times 12. So as I come down here, I put the bigger number on top, 12 times 8. First, I multiply the ones place. 8 times 2 is 16. I write down the 6, and I carry the 1. Now I multiply the 8 to the tens place. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So how many inches is 8 feet? It's 96 inches. Now, if you don't know how to multiply, you could have written down the number 12 8 times and then added it together. And remember, we learned multiple ways of adding, but usually I do US customary. If I know I got to do it 8 times, I could add it 4 times. 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 times. And I know if I double that, 4 plus 4 is 8. And again I add, I come up with the same answer, which is 96. Find the perimeter of a square shown at the top of journal page 32 and convert your answers to inches. That is just what we just did So hopefully you can do that on page 32 without any problems. And here is your answer. Perimeter. I want you to think about perimeter. You would determine the perimeter of a square. Could you do that if you only knew the measurement of one side? So if you had a square, remember all squares are the same length. So if I knew that one side was 4 feet, could I find out the perimeter? You should have answered yes. Because if one side is 4 foot and all 4 sides are the same, I could have just did 4 times 4 is 16. Or I could have added, like I did in the previous one, 4 plus 4, because there's 4 sides, so I'd have to add 4 times. Either way, I'm coming up with the same answer. It is 16 feet. But would that same be true if I was doing a rectangle and I knew the measurement of one side? 8 feet. Hopefully you're realizing that no, there's no way I could figure this up if I only had the measurement of one side, because this longer side would be 8 foot, and this longer side, parallel from it, would also be 8 foot. But if I don't have the measurements of these shorter sides, I don't know what to add to do these two 8 feet to find the perimeter. So here is your page 32. In today's lesson, you're going to identify a rule, which another name for a rule is a formula, for finding the perimeter of a rectangle. You need to look at the rectangle in problem 1 on your journal page. And it is that, and it says point to the longer side and identify that side as length. So this is showing you right here. This is the length. The length is laying down right here, and it's 15 inches. The side that runs perpendicular to it, perpendicular, remember, we can make a right corner symbol here because it is a perfect capital L. And actually we could do it on all 4 corners because all 4 corners are perfect right angles. This is called the width. That's the up and down. So the length lies down, the width goes up and down. So what is the length of this rectangle? Correct, it's 15 inches. And what's the width? 9 inches. So how are we going to find the perimeter? We will take 15 plus 15, and the reason we're doing 2 of those is because this line is 15 and so is this line 15. Then we're going to do the width, and we already know that the width is 9, but we got to do 2 of those also because not only is this line 9 inches, so is this line. So when we add that together, 15 and 15 is 30, plus 9 is 18. Our answer is 48 inches. And there's my equation. 15 plus 15 plus 9 plus 9. 4 sides, 4 numbers. We are adding the length plus the length plus the width plus the width. So our formula could be written as L plus W plus W equals P. Again, L stands for length, so length plus width equals perimeter, and that's what we did right here, only instead we put the numbers in place of the L's. Instead of writing length 15 inches, we just wrote 15th, and instead of writing width as a W, we wrote it in as 9. So another way you could write this is you could write 2 times the length plus width equals perimeter. And the reason we could do that is because there are 2 length sides, and we wrote that as L, and there are 2 width sides. So once we added the length plus width, which if we did that, 15 plus 9 is 24. If I then multiply that by 2, because there are 2 lengths, 2 widths, I still would come up with the same answer, which is 48. And this is just telling you the same information that I just did with you. Finding perimeters of objects. You can work with a partner and measure the dimensions of your journals to the nearest inch, and you need to record those measurements on your journal page 32. And then you and your partner select 2 other rectangular objects in the classroom to measure and record their lengths. Make sure to write down what those objects were that you measured. Remember, the length is laying along the bottom. The width is going up and down. And then you're going to take the 2 times the length plus width. And I'm going to draw my multiplication symbol in here. And then you're going to find its perimeter. Share your strategies for finding the perimeter with your partner. And make sure to go around the room and you can measure a file cabinet drawer, the top of your desk. Maybe you want to measure one of the skinny long rectangular drawers or one of the doors. That's fine. Stop and pause the tape now. Do that with a partner. You're going to need something to measure with and your pencil so you can fill it in as you measure. Make sure you're working together and not just one person is doing this. So this is your finding perimeter. Again, this was your perimeter page. Here was your math journal down below showing you what you were filling in. Here are your answers. And again, here is your math journal page answer, which should be correct. And then you should have 2 other objects that you measured and have written down the width, the formula, and the perimeter. Now I would like you to turn to page 33 in your math journal. As you do this page, I want you to know that I need to see your equation, and you can look back at the other equations that you've done previously and rewind this recording to find the perimeter. It also is telling you the formulas right up top here in order to find perimeter, the different ways in which you can do it. So you can use any of those equations. This is an assessment check page, which means when the page is completed, the entire page, I want you to bring it back to me and have me check it off as whether you knew it or did not know it. If you can't even do these 2 by yourself, then you do not know it. If you look down further on the page, it's actually telling you to draw. And so you're going to need to draw a rectangle with a perimeter of 16 inches, and you can guess at that, and I want to see that. Then you are going to go to Math Masters, page 46. It's a loose leaf paper in your file. Finding the perimeter, page 46 again. Do that to me. Turn it in, and you can check it here real quickly if it doesn't stop.